All right, everyone, welcome back here. SportsBook Sports, all things sports betting. I am your host, Connor, with my boy here, GA.
What's up? Welcome to, what are we at, part 22?
Part 23,
Part
I think
23?
it might be.
Oh, my goodness.
The 100K challenge.
100K challenge, September 10th, ready to roll.
Yep, see what we can put together tonight and this weekend with picks. Definitely looking forward to having a full weekend of NFL and college football. It's going to be...
Can't believe it. Last night was just a little tease. It was a great game, Thursday night game, but boy, I can't wait till we get the full 1 o'clock slate, the full witching hour. Red Zone's going to be popping.
I was going to say, it's going to be...
Picks are going to be going great. Fantasy football is going to be happening. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, there's a lot going on both days. Exciting stuff, that's for sure.
Before we hop into it, though, let's talk about SportsBook Sports. We're on Instagram. We're on YouTube. Give us a like. Give us a follow. Give us a subscription. Let us know what you guys are taking this weekend. I mean, we got a full Saturday slate, full Sunday slate. We're SportsBook Talks on Twitter. So interact. Let us know what you guys like. I mean, there's a ton of great games all weekend long. I've been looking at the overs and unders. Kind of caught my eye a little bit, so I have a few of those. For the college slate, instead of going really straight up, I had one or two, I think, lines in that. But there's a lot of good stuff. A lot of unders happen in the first week, so I'm not sure if overs are going to kind of find their level and come back. But I got a few unders again this week. They've been doing me right, so I'm going to stick with them. It's going to be a great week of college football and a great week of NFL.
Definitely.
To cap it off.
Yeah, a lot of games, a lot of action, and a lot of money going to be bet, that's for sure.
Yeah, so let's just recap real quick. Not much really changed from our last episode. So again, 100K challenge. We each started with $10,000, and we're working up to either $100,000 or going broke. I'm 28.51-1 on the season, so I lost. I had the under last night. That did not look good from the start, and I think it was over in the third quarter. So wasn't the best. I thought the offenses might come out a little slow. They were not. The defenses honestly looked a little slow. They were throwing the ball all over the field. So I think there was like 3 touchdowns for Dallas, passing touchdowns, 4 passing touchdowns for Tampa Bay. So absolute shootout. So I'm at 5,600 right now. Bank rolls down about 4,400.
Yep.
Connor, you're still at 27.33-1. You're up about 3,200 right now in the season. So you're sitting at 13,200.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like I said, not too much has changed. Just wanted to hit on that. And then let's get into our picks.
Yeah. Let's get right into them.
That's what we're here for. You want to start with yours? You want to start with mine? What are you thinking?
Well, I obviously have the first one that's out there, Kansas.
Yep, so you gave that out the other night, but we still have it on here because that game's tonight.
Yep, so just wanted to reiterate that. Kansas, whatever you can get them at. I think it's a good bet. The public's going to be on Coastal for sure. So I think there's definitely some value in taking Kansas tonight. But my next pick of the night is going to be Duke first half.
Okay.
Minus 11.5. I just think, just looking at this game, I'm sure you can't really find much statistics as far as the public betting, but I would assume a lot of people are on Duke, and I think rightfully so. I think this is a game that, Vegas can't even really tell you much on because Carolina AT&T is god-awful. Obviously a lower-level football team when it comes to college football. And I think Duke has enough with their run game.
Yeah, Durant looked awesome last week. We were watching that game closely because we had Charlotte.
Yeah, and I was going to say, I think what he did against Charlotte's defense is on a much higher level than North Carolina A&T's is.
Yep.
So, I mean, I just see him running all over. I see them having some big plays early. I see the defense making stops early. And I think that 11.5 is a breeze. I think it might be, 28-3 at the end of the half because the running game, I think, will open up the passing game for them even more.
Yep.
So, I mean, like I said, I think Duke's just at a much higher talent level. I feel like they come out and punch them right in the face early. And I got a unit on them, 1,100 to win 1,000, and I think that's a cakewalk right there.
Yeah. Do you think anything about like last week how they just they were back and forth and kind of lost? I wouldn't say like in a heartbreaking fashion, but it was a close game. Do you think that they come out like extra motivated this week? That's why you're taking them first half, instead of the full game? Why aren't you looking at the full game line instead of just the first half line?
I'm just worried of. I think I like both of them.
Yeah,
I would take both. I think partly it is that I think Duke's home. I'm pretty sure, so I think they come out with a little bit more energy.
Yep.
First half is just better for me because I feel like a team. I'm not big on truthfully, I'm not big on betting on teams that lost the week before and then coming back with a vengeance.
Yeah.
Because as an athlete, I feel like it's just they don't necessarily even care, and at the same time, a team that on paper is supposed to win the game.
Yep.
Maybe they're realistically just not that good. And I think that's what we found out. Duke versus Charlotte. Realistically, you match up conference to conference. Charlotte should never beat Duke in football.
Yep.
And that's what a lot of public people would look at that and be like, nah, there's no way a team like Charlotte beats an ACC team. And it's just Duke's awful at football. They don't get good talent there. So fucking anyone can beat them.
Yeah.
But in this game specifically, there's just a gap that is too far to keep in. And I would bet the full game, but I personally just think the first half is better because I feel like more than Duke coming out with a vengeance, I think A&T is going to have a tough time getting into a rhythm.
Okay.
That's how I feel about it. I think the gap between the talent levels is too much. And North Carolina A&T, I think, will score some points in the second half, but I think they're going to have a struggle getting in the flow in the first half.
Okay.
So
I like that. I mean, we both have Army. I know that's your next pick. You got a -5.5. What made you take the side in that one?
I just think, Western Kentucky, they're a good football team.
Yep.
Definitely have improved the last couple of years. I just think Army's. Truthfully, I think this one. What do you have in this game?
I have the under 51.5.
I was just gonna say I think this game's gonna be a snooze fest.
Yeah.
I think both teams aren't gonna score much. I think Western Kentucky will actually do a good job against the option.
Mm-hmm.
I think they'll be disciplined enough to face it, but then it just wears you down by the end of the game. And then Western Kentucky, they like to throw the ball a lot. Their quarterback, I think, threw for 400 and some yards last week.
Yep.
And Army's just not your typical. They get beat. Army gets beat when the other team's just is head and heels better than them, talent wise.
Yeah.
Because Army's gonna beat you by discipline and running their formations the way they should, especially on both sides of the ball. And I think defensively, Western Kentucky's not going to be able to throw the ball like they did last week. They're going to have to resort to the run game a little bit, which isn't going to be effective. I think defensively they'll do a good job. They'll keep the game close, but then I think Army wins. Public's heavy on Army from what I've seen.
Yep.
I don't really care about that on this one. It moved from 4.5 to 5.5, so it moved in Army's favor.
Okay.
I just see them still winning by 2, maybe 3 touchdowns.
Okay.
It's just too difficult to defend the option, especially this early in the year, and when you don't really have an identity defensively.
Yeah, I like that too, and the reason why I'm on the under is to your point. I think they might slow down the option a little bit, but I think it just eats up so much clock that it's going to be tough for them to get an offensive rhythm. Yeah. So they're not going to have a ton of time with the ball and stuff. So, you have to make every possession count when you go against Army. Yeah. And they threw for 400 yards last week, but I don't see that happening this week. I think it, like you said, so the game slows down, the defense is disciplined, so.
And it wasn't against an Army type defense.
Yeah. And 52 is not a wicked high number in college football because they can get crazy, but it's not as low as some of these other ones. So.
Yeah. 100%.
Up next, you got South Florida plus 28.
Yep.
Who are they playing this week?
Florida.
Okay. I kind of like South Florida in this one, so I was happy to see that you took it. Why do you like South Florida plus 28?
A couple reasons. I think South Florida. I don't know. I was mixed up in this one a little bit because, the line movement is favoring South Florida. I like the reverse live movement. Florida's being bet heavily against them. All things considered, like if you look at these two matchups, you would think Florida should win by a gazillion touchdowns.
Yep.
I just don't think Florida, for one, is the same football team that they had last year. I think they have a lot to rebuild on. I think losing who they had on offense is just going to be tough to regain and get back, what they had. They obviously put up a ton of yards last week, but that was against an opponent that I don't think plays much defense in NC State.
Yep.
So I think there's a lot going into it. I think USF has the opportunity to score against them because I think Florida's defense is still good, but it's mediocre compared to last year, and same with their offense. So I see this game going under 2 in my eyes.
Okay.
But I think USF has enough to keep it close on both sides of the ball. But as I said, I just think Florida's going to struggle a little bit to put up points, and that's what's going to keep it close. Like, what is it at?
Four touchdowns, 28.
Yeah, it's at 28, and it's moved down a little bit. Again, more than anything, it's one of those ones that I always talk about that like I'm so uncomfortable betting it that I should bet it, and that's sort of more why I took it more than anything. And also, like every fucking article I read about it, everyone says Florida's gonna blow them out by 5 touchdowns, and that makes me like it even more.
Yep.
Obviously, but it's again two different conferences, 2 different levels of talent. You would assume.
Yep.
But I think Florida having a down year, I think USF can keep it close.
Yeah.
Maybe a backdoor touchdown covers it too. Who knows?
Yeah, exactly. When you're getting that many points, you never know. Like late in the game, you might get, Florida might take their foot off the gas a little bit. So
yeah, and I think it's at a neutral site.
Okay.
Which I don't think really helps USF at all. Obviously, you would rather have them home because of the student section and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if the game is in Florida, like more people are obviously going to come out from a Florida Gators perspective for football than USF.
For sure.
But I think it helps a little bit, especially that more or less in the fact that they're not at Florida's home field.
Yep, that's a good point. So you got East Carolina next +2.
Yeah.
I'm interested in this one because I was kind of liking South Carolina.
This is possibly my lock of the week.
Okay.
Don't like putting that title on it.
Yep. 12 o'clock kickoff.
And hold on, I had some more notes on this one. Yeah, 12 o'clock kickoff. This is one that I saw where I was just like, for one, the line movement is ridiculous.
Okay.
80% of the money's on South Carolina.
Yep.
Fucking the line opened at +2 South Carolina and moved to -2 South Carolina. So it moved 4 points over that time with all the money coming in on them. So you'd sort of expect that.
Yeah.
But again, this is one where
4 points is a lot of movement.
100%. This is one though where I'm looking at it and I'm like, this is a trap.
Okay.
I honestly didn't even look too deep into the statistics on it. And I could be completely wrong.
Yeah.
But like South Carolina.
Yep.
SEC.
Yep.
East Carolina.
Yep.
Whatever fucking conference. No, they're in like the AAC.
Okay, yeah.
The American Conference.
Yep.
Why the fuck is that game -2?
Yeah, that's true.
Why did that open at +2?
Yeah,
why did that open up at -2?
Yeah,
East
why
Carolina?
was East Carolina a favorite to
Because
start?
Vegas is gonna make a bag off this game.
Yeah.
That's why there's no other explanation. It's either that or they're just like poaching people to hammer the game to give them some money, and then we'll take it back another time.
Yeah, that's one thing that I wanted to talk to you about a little bit because we saw with. I think the first week I could be wrong on this, but like a lot of public money won.
Yeah,
like a lot of public money was on the over last night. That was easy in the NFL game. A lot of public money won week 1. So when do you think that switch happens where the public starts losing? Because we all know first couple weeks of a season, they're going to let the public win because they want you to think. They want you at the water cooler and being like, oh, I went 3-0 last weekend. Oh, I took blah, 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 blah. And that was an easy win.
Yeah.
They want people talking like that. They want people sharing picks. They want people talking about it. So this way everyone thinks they're confident.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden that switch happens and then they start breaking in. So do you think it's week 3, week 4? Do you think it's early this season because it's been tough out there with COVID and everything?
I think it's a mixture. I think Vegas, they do a very, very good job of knowing which games are going to be highly bet. And like last night, obviously, the spread, the side bets were probably bet, I would say at least 25% more than the over-under.
Yep.
So they made money off that.
Exactly.
No matter what. You know what I mean? Because
everyone was all over
Tampa. So it's like, and on Saturdays and Sundays especially, there's so much room for error in their side of things.
Okay.
Because like they say they have 3 games that they fucking are like 60-40 splits on, where the public's got 60% and the other side of it is 40. And those 3 win. So a public, the gamblers that were on the favorites won.
Yep.
Then they have one game like South Carolina, East Carolina,
right,
where 90% of the public's on them.
Yeah.
And they made enough money off that one game to cover the other 3 games.
Or they have like a primetime game like they had Clemson, Georgia last week. They might have made enough money off that game because so many people were on Clemson that they cover 6 of these low ECU, South Carolina games. You know what I mean? Because there's just not as much public money as on these games.
And they also have, they sort of... it's gotten to the point, too, where it's like those type of games, they want more than anything. They want it to be 50-50. We spoke about that in the past on these episodes. Like Vegas would love nothing more for every game to be 50-50, no lopsided betting percentage on either side, because then they would just catch the juice for every pick.
Yep.
So then it's just easy money. People cash tickets, they take other people's money. It's just the way the game works. But it's like this game, I'm betting it because there's no way. South Carolina is like a fucking decent program too, and East Carolina this year is a little bit better than they have been in years past. But like this game reminds me of the Cuse Ohio game last week.
Yeah, everyone
was on Cuse. The line moved in Ohio's favor.
Yeah,
Ohio ended up being -2. And Cuse wins by 3 touchdowns? It ended up being. It was an ugly game, but they covered.
Yeah. This
game makes me think of that one, but this one's like even more absurd.
Yeah.
Because Cuse, Ohio, is reasonable. Like Cuse is awful.
Yeah.
Ohio's a decent max school. They can put up points. So maybe that happens.
Yep.
Looking at this one face value, it's just like
that's what I was saying. I like South Carolina off the bat because it's like how is it a field goal? Like I'll give a field goal to ECU every time for an SEC school.
Yeah, but that's what makes me take the other side.
Yep.
That's why it's just like, why would Vegas give this lollipop of a game?
Yep.
And everyone looking at it like, because if you're a gambler and you're going through all the games as a fucking degenerate, people are going to be like, oh my God, South Carolina's -2?
Yeah.
I got to take that. And that's going to fuck everyone's parlay.
Yeah.
Like watching South Carolina will miss 2 extra points in the whole game and they'll win by 1 point.
Yeah.
Some shit like that will happen. Because Vegas, and they will make so much money because I could see East Carolina, if I could get an alternate line on that, this is a game I would take it in, and I would take East Carolina like
-2.5.
Even more, I would take them even more, like -5.5, like a reverse line.
Okay.
And see where you can get them at, because this is gonna fuck super. This game is the one that's gonna mess up super teasers, all those type of bets, because they could lose by 10 points.
Yeah.
I don't know how it's gonna happen, but that's why I'm taking it. Is because I'm so uncomfortable with taking it.
Yeah.
That I'm gonna take it.
All right. Well, another game. See, I want to know if we can parlay these, because another game that I thought was a stone cold lock, I couldn't believe the line on this, is the opposite of what you have next. You have Syracuse +1.5. Rutgers looked incredible last week. We talked about all the time about how Syracuse sucks.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I'm like, okay, why? What makes you take Syracuse +1.5?
Same thing.
Yeah.
Public Public money's coming in on Rutgers. The line hasn't moved anywhere, which makes I think it actually went in Syracuse's favor.
Okay.
So I think it was 2.5 that it opened at, moved to 1.5. And truthfully, I think this one more than anything, Cuse, for as bad as they looked last week, is actually a much improved football team. They've brought in people that are going to help them.
Yeah, a lot of transfers.
A lot of transfers coming in. Their defense is much better.
Yeah.
Offensively, they still have improvement, but their run game's a lot better. They have a much better offensive line. I think people are just hyped up on the team that the fact Rutgers won by a gazillion last week against Temple.
Yeah.
Who Temple is literally like Division II football. Like, they are awful.
Yep.
I wouldn't be surprised if they don't win a game unless they play like fucking UConn or some shit in their schedule. And I think this one, truthfully, is going to be heavily bet. Mm-hmm. You want to know why? Because we're in New York and New Jersey here.
Yep.
New York people are going to bet the Jersey game.
Yep.
Whatever state it's not in, we're gonna find a way to bet it.
Yeah.
Because if it's in New York, people are gonna go to Jersey to bet it. If it's in Jersey, people are gonna go to New York to bet it.
Yeah.
So I think there's a way that this game gets a lot of money on it, and I think Vegas has to be right, and that's what makes me want to fade the public on it. 75% was on Rutgers, a little bit of reverse line movement. And I think, like I said, Rutgers is a little overhyped from week 1.
Yeah.
And I think Syracuse is much improved from what they were last year.
Yeah, they had a good showing last week.
Yeah, not the best showing. I mean, the first half was like 12-6.
Yeah. Second half, they got it going, though.
Yeah, offensively, they got it going. Like I said, I think they're moving in the right direction, and if they can keep improving, they'll look better week 2. And hopefully they can get the win, because that's another one that I wasn't comfortable with taking Cuse. I got him on my over pick for the year.
Yeah.
And
if you could start out 2-0, I mean, that would be incredible.
Yeah.
One thing after this week, I want to go back and look at all of our over and under picks.
Yeah.
See how we're doing after 2 weeks. So again, all your picks are 1,100 to win 1,000. You got 2, 4, 6, 7 games on the card right now. Yeah. Your last game's Navy +6.
Yeah.
So why are the Navy's playing Air Force this week?
Yep, they play Air Force.
Yep. So what do you got for +6 Navy?
I mean, honestly, all these games I'm really doing the public fade.
Okay.
Navy's 0-1. Air Force got a win last week against. Let me pull it up real quick. It's slipping my mind. Who they played last week?
I can't remember.
I just had it on my notes here.
Lafayette. Is that right?
I don't think so.
Yeah, Navy got smoked by Marshall last week.
Yeah, Marshall's legit.
Yeah,
Marshall's legit. That's another thing that I look at. They played Lafayette.
Yeah.
Who's a fucking Patriot League. I think there's actually a kid from our hometown that plays. No, he's at Lehigh, I think.
Okay.
Lafayette's awful, for one. Not awful. I gotta stop saying that, because they're Division I athletes. There's a
different level.
There's a huge gap in talent that should be, especially between an Air Force and a Lafayette. Navy, I think this is another one where people see the record. They see Air Force won out and won by 3 touchdowns. Navy is 0-1. Public's gonna obviously take the record and go based off that and not really understand the talent level that they're playing, because Marshall's a legit football team. Navy got absolutely smoked by them.
Yeah.
But Air Force just isn't on, for one, Marshall's level. Yep. Nor do I think they're on Navy's. But like I said, you look at those two scores for face value, and it puts a perception into the public's eyes, which is making them hammer Air Force. This is honestly one game out of the rest of them that I think tomorrow, if anyone is following these bets, when you look at the public betting, I think some money will come in on Navy.
Okay.
On game day.
Yep.
Some public money, which might hurt my statistics on it. But I do think that Navy can get the job done. They run a disciplined offense similar to the way Army plays. All these schools are the same type of way.
Yeah.
But I think they can get it done against Air Force. And, again, I'm fading the public on that one. But I also think that the talent levels of who they've played in the first game doesn't really paint the picture that their records show, being 1-0 and 0-1. So
I like that.
Yeah, that's what makes me feel that way about it.
All right, so again, you got Kansas plus 25, Duke first half minus 11.5, Army minus 5.5, South Florida plus 28, East Carolina plus 2, Syracuse plus 1.5, Navy plus 6, all 1,100 to win 1,000. Big card this weekend compared to last weekend, so I'm excited for it.
Yes, sir.
For me, I'm going with 250 to win 227-27 with all my bets. I have some college football. I have a couple NFL games already that I really like, so I want to give those out. So we talked about Army a little bit. I'm taking the under 51.5.
Mm-hmm.
I think to your point, I think it's a slow-moving offense. I think it's a pretty good, a decent defense for what they are. And I just think it slows down a little bit. 51.5, I thought was a little high. I thought it was going to be in the 40s. So I like 51.5. We talked about Navy. I'm also going with Navy. Okay. The only thing that's making me a little worried is how many people are on the under. It's 40.5, so it's low. And like there's the stats going around about how when these Army, Navy, Air Force games get played, it's like it always goes under.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. So I'm going to ride it. I think it's going to happen again. Like to your point, after week 1, I know it's only 1 week, but Navy, total yards 420, passing yards 50, so that's 370 rushing yards.
Okay.
I'm sorry, that was Air Force. Navy, same thing though, 400 total yards of offense, 61 passing, so 340 yards rushing. So these guys run the ball.
Definitely. Just
like Army, they run the ball. Then if you go on defense, on yards allowed, Air Force allowed 43 rushing yards last week. Navy let up 100 rushing yards last week, compared to like 240 passing and 360 passing. So to me, it's kind of like whatever the saying is, like an unstoppable force meets an immovable object. Both of these teams love to run the ball. Both of these teams stop the run or are better on rush defense than passing defense.
Definitely. Yep.
So I think it's a slow game. I think there's a lot of punts in this one. I like the Navy pick because I think it's gonna stay close. So, but I'm going with the under 40.5. What else do I got? So I got 2 unders there. I'm also going with the under the Tennessee game. I'm trying to think who they played Pitt. So we saw Pitt last week when they played UMass. And then Tennessee, I think, played Bowling Green. So they kind of both played 2 trash opponents. Mm-hmm. They killed both of them. I think this is where these teams kind of meet and we see who's the better of the two. I think it's going to be a lot closer than people think. I mean, the spread's 3, but I think Pitt has a shot at winning this one. Or I'm sorry, I think Tennessee has a shot at winning this outright. But 56.5 to me is just too high. I think both offenses slow down a little bit. I mean, I didn't watch the Tennessee game last week. I was scrolling and looking at it, but Pitt, I was watching that game, and I'm just not impressed with the offense as much as I thought it was going to be. Mm-hmm. I thought that they were going to just be a little bit more methodical, a little bit more, put better drives together than they did. So I think both of these teams, Tennessee also, I think they were a huge favorite. They might have covered at the end. It was 38-6.
Yep.
So I don't know what the spread was. But again, I think people were kind of disappointed in the way they played as well. So I think both these teams have something to prove on offense. I don't know if the offense is as good as both teams think they are. So I'm going with the under 56.5. Those are 3 unders for me to start. And then I switch it up and I go with a couple picks just against the spread. I'm taking Texas A&M minus 16.5.
Uh-huh.
I'm trying to think of if they're on the road or if they're home.
Who is it again?
Texas A&M.
Not sure.
And they're playing.
But to speak on your game before, I do really like. I love Tennessee.
Okay.
I do. I'm considering throwing that out on Twitter tomorrow based on some more research that I got to do. I love the new coach they have down there. He came from UCF.
Yeah, a little bit of more up-tempo style
defense
offense.
Locks in. And from what I saw, like you said, what I saw at Pittsburgh week 1, I think Tennessee can get the job done there, and I might put that out as a bet tomorrow. I'm still waiting on some inside information that I got.
Yeah, so I got Texas A&M minus 16.5. They're going to Colorado, playing in Colorado. So it worries me a little bit that they're on the road.
Yeah.
And it worries me a little bit that Colorado, I think, looked pretty good last week. I think I had them in the under. And and they were the one that put up all the points. Yeah, 35-7 is what they won last week, but they were playing a terrible team.
Yep.
Texas A&M kind of looked shaky. I know they covered the spread on a last-second field goal. They won 41-10 against Kent, so I think Colorado's a little bit better. So, but I think the spread reflects that. I think the spread dropped a little bit. 16.5 to me gets you 2 touchdowns and a field goal.
Yep.
I like that it's inside that. I think Texas A&M kind of had a little bit of a wake-up call this year. I mean, they're ranked 5, I think, right now. So if you're going to be a top 5 program, you have to kill these other schools that shouldn't be a problem. So I think they might get it together this week on the offense and get it going against Colorado. I also have Utah -7.5. So Utah fucked me last week. That was the only thing that lost in that parlay, but I was an idiot and I took them in the under. And I didn't respect their offense. I think their offense is better than people expected, is better than I expected. Granted, they were playing a terrible team, but I don't think BYU honestly is that good.
No,
they were good last year with Zach Wilson, obviously, but I think that was a once in a decade team. I think they lost a couple pieces. They won last week, but again, it was against Arizona, who I think is one of the worst teams in college football this year. And it was a close game. I think people were expecting, I forget what the spread was, but I think people were expecting BYU to win pretty big.
Yeah.
And they won 24-16. So I think Utah's defense is going to be too much. I think they're going to slow down BYU a lot. I think it's 7.5. I think this one's not close. I think this one's another one that might be an alternate line game for me because I think that there's a shot that this one's kind of a blowout.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's it for me for college football. Again, those are all 250 to win 227-27. And then I have a couple NFL picks. I got Buffalo -6.5. For Buffalo, I think at home hosting Pittsburgh first week of the season. I don't really like Pittsburgh on the road. I do like the Buffalo offense at home. I think Buffalo's going to come out and throw and throw and throw.
Mm-hmm.
I think Pittsburgh has a pretty good defense, a pretty good pass rush, but I think Josh Allen, after last year, I think he takes another step. I also like that it's just inside the football numbers, inside 7.
Yeah.
So 6.5. I think there's going to be some weather there, so I think that might be a little tricky for the defenses. I think what we saw last night might be predictive of what we see with week 1. I don't know, but I think there's going to be a lot of offense this week. I think there's going to be a lot of scoring. So
I can see that.
I think Buffalo's going to come out, take that. I think New England's going to host Miami and win by a touchdown, but it's -2, so I'll take that.
Okay.
I think that Bill Belichick and his defense, I mean, we talked about it in our preview. I love New England this year. I think that this defense is going to be rocking and rolling against Tua, who's, has a lot to prove this year.
Mm-hmm.
Not Will Fuller, but who's the guy that they just brought in? They brought in a new wide receiver in Miami. He's suspended for the first week. Actually, it might be Will Fuller. So they're down a wide receiver already. Jalen Waddle got hurt in the preseason. I'm not sure if he played in the last game, so they're kind of banged up already. Myles Gaskin's a good weapon for Miami, but again, if you're running the ball against New England, good luck to you.
Yep.
And I think that this week they just come out slow. I think they've had 3 or 4 months to prep for this game, so I think they just have a methodical approach to this one. I think maybe they win it last second on a field goal, so that's why I like it -2.5.
Yep.
But I think they have a shot to win this big time in New England to start the year. And then the last bet that I have is just the Ravens is over 50.5. The Ravens and Oakland, I think the last 4 times they played, they went over. So they seem to match up well. Marcus Peters just got hurt for the Ravens. Gus Edwards just got hurt for the Ravens. Yeah. So there's a lot of injuries. There's some injuries on the defense, but there's also a ton of injuries to the running game for the Ravens.
Yep.
So I think there's a shot that they throw a lot more. They rely on the pass game. Mark Andrews just got that big contract. And the Oakland, I just don't think has a defense. I like their offense.
Yeah.
I kind of like Derek Carr. I think a lot of people kind of rag on him. I'm not really sure why.
Yep.
So yeah, I do like the over in that one. What do you think about those 3 right there? Any thoughts, any takes on NFL games? Is there anything that you're looking at for the NFL games? Yet I know it's still a little early.
There was one game I was looking at. I do like the Bills game. Public's heavy on them though.
Yeah.
But I think that speaks for itself. I think Buffalo's gonna come out and handle that game pretty heavily. The There was 2 games actually I was looking at that I really, really liked in NFL, but I'm still one game that I really actually like is the Texans against the Jags.
Fuck. See, so I was going to say the last pick that I have is a 6-leg parlay, and the team that I took out of it was going to be a 7-team parlay, and it was the Texans.
You should have put them in there. Money
Yeah.
line. I think the Texans. Well, first off, Jaguars starting Trevor Lawrence, rookie quarterback. He's probably going to play decent.
Yeah.
But the Jaguars are still the Jaguars, no matter how you look at it.
Yeah.
And the Texans are bringing in Tyrod Taylor,
Yeah.
who honestly has had probably the worst luck of any quarterback in the NFL.
Okay.
Like, he was supposed to be starting with the Chargers till they stabbed him in his lung.
Yeah.
He had things happen in the years past, and he's honestly not. He's not terrible. He's pretty solid. And he's got game experience. I think he can lead the Texans to a win there. Jaguars are getting public money, so that's sort of just beyond me why that's even occurring. And then the other game that I really like is the Bengals +3.
I love the Bengals this week. Can't get enough of the Bengals.
Yeah, I think the Vikings, they're on them pretty heavily. Public is at 70%. It's -3. The line hasn't moved a lick, and I just think that just screams take the Bengals money line.
Yeah, there's also some like stat out there too that I was looking at. It was like the last 4 times that the Minnesota and the Bengals have played, the home team has won.
Really?
The home team is actually covered, so you're getting 3 points with that one, but I would take a money line as well.
Yeah, and I also like the Browns a little bit too.
I like them against the spread. Don't like them. I don't know if I like them money line.
Yeah,
but.
spread +5.5.
All right, well, I added the Texans to my parlay.
Okay.
Just ran the calculation, did the numbers, all that good stuff. So, parlay for you guys, a 7-leg parlay. Arizona, these are all money line. Arizona underdog, love it. Philadelphia underdog, love it. Cincinnati money line, love it. New England money line, Buffalo money line, Rams money line, Texans money line. So you have 4 underdogs in there. You have 3 favorites, and what the beautiful thing is you have the Rams, which is a Sunday night game, so you have an option to hedge it out if you want. And if you are going to hedge it out, you're hedging it out with the Bears +300. So you're getting some good odds there if you need to hedge it. 250 to win 22,600. Put it in now. Run to the books. Get it in while you can. I had the Texans in there. Didn't kind of second guess myself. I'm so happy that you like the Texans. I love the Texans and I love the Bengals. So that might be a 2-teamer I throw in as well. But 7-leg parlay, my last parlay of the season unless this hits. So we'll see how it goes. Anything else? Anything else you want to get out while we got this going?
No, nothing right now.
We might tweet out some more picks again tomorrow and Sunday, so follow us on all our social media, SportsBook Sports on Instagram and YouTube, SportsBook Talks on Twitter.
Yep.
Let us know what you guys are taking. Let us know what you think about our picks, and we'll see you guys next time.
Yeah, we'll see you then. I just wanted to say hopefully everyone enjoys week 1 of NFL and has a blast watching.
Yep.
I'm excited for football to be back. That's all I can say.
It's back, baby. Can't wait.
And we'll see you then.